Hello guys and girls out there, wherever you are. Welcome to another totally random video. And today I want to give you a nice close-up look and a good review of one of my favorite board games of all times. Because, yeah, it's just a really nice and beautiful game. I'm talking about the real Ghostbusters 3D board game. And that's the box of the game. So obviously I have the German version, but that's not really a big problem. I mean, look at the artwork. I really like the artwork of this game. It's just so nice and beautiful. Looks really cool. Probably also a good picture for a nice wallpaper or something like this. So it's for players of the age of 6 and up, and you can play it with 2 to 4 players. And I'm going to show you all the nice little details and artworks of this game, and I'm going to explain the rules, how to play the game. So let's jump right into it. First of all, if you want to know how to assemble the game, it tells you inside the box how to assemble the entire game. So where to put the stickers and how to assemble everything. So it's really nice. It also tells you what the game comes with, but I'm going to show that anyway. Unfortunately, I ripped the box when I was a kid. I don't know why, so I don't really have the bottom. But the bottom of the box is actually the main instructions of how to play the game. But I'm going to explain all of this, so you don't have to read it. But I just wanted to show you that you have all the instructions, not as a rule sheet, but yeah, the back of the box. So first off, let me show you what you get with the game aside from the playfield itself. So you have 4 of those slimed cards. You have 4 of these. Then you have a stack or a pile of those ghost cards. So those are various different ghosts. You have these cards. And those are also nicely designed ghosts, by the way, but I'm going to show you all of those ghosts later. Then you get the dice. Is it the dice or the die? No, the dice, right? This obviously isn't the original one, but you know, it doesn't matter, it's just a dice. Then you get this little skull. Come on, focus. So just a little skull. Then you get a spinner. Yeah, it looks pretty beat up, but you know, it's an old game. My parents just found it again, and I used to play it a lot as a kid. So you have the spinner with a nice little spider, and then of course you have the 4 Ghostbusters characters. So Peter, Ray, Egon, Winston, we have this. And then of course we have the actual game itself. And here we have the main attraction, which is the playfield itself. And as you can tell, it's been divided into 4 different stages or areas or levels or whatever you call it. And we're going to take a closer look at each one of those stages while we are explaining the game. And we are also going to take a closer look at the artwork and all that kind of stuff. So let's start up and talk about how to play this game. And yeah. Okay, so before we start the game, you have to open the ghost trap that very oddly is shaped, or it looks like a casket. And then you take the skull and you place it on top of this tower or whatever next to the ghost trap. That's what the rule says. Then everybody picks a Ghostbuster and you place the Ghostbusters right here at the X. And that's the only time where it's allowed to have more than one character standing on the same spot. So then you decide who goes first. It's up to you how you decide it. There isn't really a specific rule. And then you play clockwise, and also the characters are also walking clockwise on the play field. And yeah, the goal of the game is to complete all 4 stages and be the first one that reaches the top of the stairs and close the ghost trap. That's the goal of the game, and then you have won. So let's start off. So the first level, as you can already tell, is the Ghostbusters headquarters. And it looks really nice. I really like that look. I really like the design. Let's move it a little bit towards the light. So here we have the traps and the backpacks. A window with the skyline. The bed. The refrigerator, really nice, really nicely done. I find it a little bit weird that the water and the alarm clock are so far away from the bed, but you know, who cares? It still looks really, really nice, don't you think? Yeah. So that's the first stage. So how do you play this game? I still don't know how I should place it because I want it to be nice and bright. So if we begin, like I said, you decide who starts, who begins, and we have those 4 slime cards that you place next to the play field facing up, and you have the ghost cards that you place right here facing down. And then the first person rolls the dice, whatever, and walks 1, 2, 3, the amount that it says right here. So that's the first thing. Then the first rule is, like I already said, it's not allowed to have 2 characters standing on the same spot. So if I would roll a 3 right now, it would be right here, but there's already Winston, so I have to go right here. So very simple, actually. But it still counts, you know, like if I would roll, let's say a 4 right now, it would be 1, 2, 3, 4. So it still counts, but I'm not allowed to place my character right here on the same spot. So that's like the first rule. So all through the entire playfield we have various different, how should I say it, fields or spots. We have the regular ones. So in the first stage, those are the green slime stains. Those are the regular spots. And if we land on one of those regular spots, green slime stains, what you do is you take the skull and you drop the skull inside the ghost trap to activate one of the traps. So right now it was the stairs, but there is nobody there. Then you spin the spinner and you perform whatever it tells you on the spinner. So if it lands right here on the ghost trap, it means that you have captured a ghost. So you pick one card from the ghost pile and collect the ghost. If it lands right here, it means that you have to pick a slimed card. And you put it right here. But you only spin once. I'm just demonstrating right now. And if the spinner lands right here, it means that you lose a ghost. So this means that your ghost goes back into the stack or the pile or whatever. Yeah. If you don't have a ghost, obviously you can't lose a ghost. And if you have already 4 ghosts, because that's the most amount of ghosts that you need in this game, you also don't pick another ghost. You're not allowed to have more than 4 ghosts collected. And if it lands right here and you already have a slimed card, it means that you also don't pick another slimed card, because you're not allowed to collect more than 1 of these cards. So if this happened, you place the skull back on top of the tower. In case a trap has been activated, for example like the axe, then you place it back up, and that's the end of your turn, and the next person goes. So like I said, it's pretty simple. But that's not all. There is a lot of rules coming up. For example, we have those lightning bolts right here. So if you land on one of those, you don't do anything. You don't drop the skull, you don't spin the spinner, but what it means is basically that you can send a lightning bolt towards one of the other players. So you can choose a player and you can steal one of his ghosts, unless the person doesn't have any ghosts, or unless you already have 4 ghosts, because you're not allowed to have more than 4, so you also don't steal somebody's ghost. But if you don't have 4 ghosts, you choose a player and you can steal one of his ghosts. So that's actually also really nice. And then we have the red slime stains right here. So if we land on one of those slime stains, that's the end of the turn. You also don't do anything, you don't drop the skull, you don't spin, you just stand right there. But what the red slime stains mean is basically that you are standing inside a trap. And in the first stage, the trap is this axe right here. So if one of the other players lands on one of those regular spots, they obviously drop the skull inside the ghost trap, and then we will see if it activates this trap. So if this happens, this means that you have to go back to the beginning of the stage. And then you activate the trap again and place the skull back on the top. So that's basically the first level, the first stage. So now you probably wonder what this card is good for. Well, the slimed card is basically something good because it works like a joker. This means if you have one of those cards and somebody is landing on a lightning field and he wants to send a lightning towards you, which means he wants to steal one of your ghosts, you can say, no, you don't. I'm playing this card right now, which means you put it back into the pile and you can keep your ghost. But you don't have to play the card right away. You can save it for later, but you can play it and say, okay, I don't wanna lose my ghost. Also, if you happen to stand somewhere in a trap and the trap is being activated and it would knock you over, the trap is being activated, even if you haven't been knocked over, it still means that you have to go back to the beginning. But if you stand in a trap and the trap is being activated, you can also play this card and then you don't have to go back. You can actually stay right where you are. And another rule that I forgot to mention, but no, I'm going to tell it later because it has something to do with one of the later stages. So that's basically the rules, the basic rules of the entire game and the basic rules of this stage. So now the question is, how do we get into the next stage? And we get in there. We have this indication right here. To enter the second stage, you need at least one ghost. So as long as you don't have at least one ghost, you have to continue playing and walking around clockwise. But as soon as you have one ghost, you still have to play and wait until you come here and then you can go into the next stage. So you need one ghost to enter the antique store. So now let's take a look at the antique store. And here the regular fields are those. So what used to be the green slime stains right here are now the white ones right here. And I really also, let's take a look at the details. I really like the way this antique store looks. The ghost up here, behind the window. It's really nice. And I also like the fact that sometimes you always have some hidden ghosts, like the one back here. Looks really, really nice. So right here we have two lightnings or lightning bolts, and this is the trap. Here we have the red slime stains. So if your character is standing right here and this trap is being activated, so if this happens, you have to go back to the beginning of this stage. And here it tells us that we need two ghosts before we can leave the antique store and go into onto the streets. And we're going to do that right now. So let's turn it. Now we are outside on the streets. Also really nicely looking design. With Peter Venkman on top of the what is it called? Echo 1? Ecto 1? Blasting a ghost's ass. Literally. And here we have the entrance to the museum. And also again, those nice little hidden ghosts right there. Just looks really, really nice. So if we are right here on the streets, just place the characters a little bit. So here we have 3 of these lightnings, and those are the regular fields where you drop the skull and you spin the spinner, and yeah. But as you probably already noticed, there aren't any red slime stains on the street, which means there is no trap right here, which is good. But there's still a nice little feature, and it's this thing right here where it says secret entrance. So if we land right here, that's the end of our turn. We don't do anything. But if one of the other players drops the skull and it lands inside the basket, it opens the secret entrance. So if this happens, it means, we're basically not really going where the arrow tells us to. If this happens, it basically means that we can go directly into the museum. Now, some of you probably wonder, what is it good for? I just jumped those 2 fields, those 2 spots. That's not really a big improvement, is it? Well, the good thing about it is, if the secret entrance opens while we are standing here, it means that we can go directly into the museum, even though we don't have the certain amount of ghosts that we need. So here it tells us that we need 3 ghosts to enter the museum, but if the secret entrance opens, we can go into the museum even if we have just 1 ghost or no ghosts at all. So that's also a really, really good thing. Because think about it, what if you stand right here, you spin the spinner, you capture the 3rd ghost, now you could go into the museum, but oh no, you still have to walk around the entire play field or the entire street before you can finally enter the museum. It's a lot of time that you would waste. So this way you can enter the museum directly. So that's actually a nice and good, convenient thing. Now we go to the next stage, that is the museum. And it also looks just great. Don't you think? I think so. So here it also tells us 1989. Milton Bradley. Also with the ghost down here. Looks really nice. So here we have 2 traps basically. So one trap is being right here, because if the skull drops into this basket, it knocks your character over. So if this happens, of course you go back to the beginning of this stage. And another trap is right here and up the stairs. So if the ghost or if the skull comes down there, so if this happens, it also means back to the beginning of this level. And even if you stand right here and the skull would stop right here somewhere on the stairs, it still means back to the beginning, because let's face it, it doesn't happen many times that he rolls down the stairs and all the way across the playfield to really knock your character over. So yeah, you still have to go back to the beginning. So you have probably already guessed that those are the regular spots where you spin and drop the skull and everything. So another rule, now we need 4 ghosts until we can go up the stairs. So the stairs are kind of like the next stage or the next level. And another interesting thing, as soon as you started going up the stairs, you are safe from the lightnings. So as soon as you are on the stairs, other people are not allowed to steal your ghosts anymore. And also if we go up here and we land on one of those stairs without a slime stain, we don't really spin anymore. I don't know if we actually still drop the skull, but I don't think so, because those aren't, those aren't regular fields. So we go up, and like I said, the goal of this game is to be the first one on top and close the ghost trap. But we don't need the right amount of eyes. So we don't need, I don't know, do you say even number or whatever? So right now you probably think, oh, I need 1, 2. I need a 2 right now. Well, you don't. You also win with a 3, a 4, a 5, or a 6. Obviously not with a 1, because you still would have 1 to go. But if you roll a 5 right now, you're still the winner. You go up and you close the trap, and that's the end of the game, and you won the game. So that's basically Ghostbusters, the 3D board game from 1986. And I have to say, it's a really, really nice and beautifully designed game that really captures the feel of Ghostbusters, and I can only recommend it. If you are a Ghostbusters fan, or if your kids are Ghostbusters fans, it is definitely a really nice game to play. So thanks for watching. Leave a comment, subscribe, thumbs up, whatever you like, and I see you in the next one. Bye.